James Harden getting snubbed for MVP isn't really new to anybody. He had a pretty clear-cut case in 2015. Last year people felt like he got snubbed due to Westbrook's triple-double record, and now here he is playing arguably the best ball of his career. And yet again, it just might not be enough. What's up, NBA fans? Dom 2K on the mic, and in a year where Kawhi Leonard hasn't played in a single game, Curry is now gone due to his kryptonite ankle injury, and Westbrook's team is playing subpar, trying to figure out how to gel two more stars, it would have seemed like it was finally Harden's year without an argument. That's because normally LeBron James coasts a bit during the season while preparing for the playoffs, but due to the roster shakeup this offseason, he's had to do more than ever to give Cleveland a chance to win. In short, Harden and LeBron are playing must-see basketball every single night, and if you're one of the people that wants to see them live one day, you can do that with the SeatGeek app. SeatGeek pulls tickets from all over the web and has them in one place to make purchasing one for your event really easy, and it also assures you'll be getting the best value for your ticket. While searching for your tickets, each one is ranked with a score from 1 to 100 that lets you know if you're getting a good deal or not for your purchase. On top of that, the app also provides you with a detailed view of what you would see from your seat before you even get there, which is extremely helpful. If you're interested in downloading this app, the link is going to be in both the comment section and in the description. So let's go through the season each player is having right now. Quick note, I know it's super early for MVP talks and things could change and probably are going to, but with the circumstances of injuries and which teams are doing well and which teams aren't, at this point Harden and LeBron are clearly head and shoulders above everyone else, so I wanted to compare their efforts so far. Starting in Houston, I think the accomplishments there so far have been kinda underrated. First off, I've barely heard anyone mention that the Rockets swapped out 5 rotation players from the roster last year and they haven't missed a beat yet. On top of that, Chris Paul went down on opening night with a bruised knee and just recently returned, so he's only played in 8 games this season. In the 14 games without him, they still managed to go 10-4, and Harden is a huge reason why. Up to this point, he's putting up 32 points, 10 assists, 5 rebounds, 2 steals, shooting 46% and 41% from the three-point line, but he is averaging 5 turnovers. Honestly, that's not such a huge deal when you realize he has a 36% usage rating, which is currently the highest in the NBA. But that usage makes the percentage he's shooting look even more impressive. Right now, the field goal percentage and three-point percentage are both career highs since he became a starter, and the only time he's ever shot a higher percentage from the field was in his last year with the Oklahoma City Thunder at 49%. But the fact that he has the ball so much, stays efficient, and was the driving force behind his team's wins with no other All-Stars while Chris Paul was gone, that's what's propelled him to what many people would call a favorite in the MVP race so far. But there's a lot more to it. Harden's current point and assist averages make him responsible for 52 points per game each night in this Rockets offense. Considering Houston is averaging 114 points per game overall, Harden is generating an astounding 46% of his team's offense every single night. Add that to the fact that he's already had 9 games above 30 points this season, and we just got to December. This amazing performance has the Rockets sitting in first place in the West with a record of 18-4, while ranking 2nd in offensive rating and 5th in defensive rating. Something else you'll want to keep in mind is that his defense right now isn't anywhere near as bad as it's been in past years either, so if you're still making Harden defensive remarks on every post related to him, 2013 called and it wants his joke back. Just in case you've been asleep on where he's led the Rockets so far, check this out. Recall that Houston currently has 18 wins, a mind-boggling 14 of those have been blowouts. Teams so far haven't even been able to make it competitive, and nobody's really talking about that. Since Chris Paul returned to the lineup and started generating another chunk of the offense, they're on a 7-game win streak, and that hasn't been competitive either. All 7 wins have been by at least 14 points, and just by looking at their schedule, this has serious potential to continue past Christmas. But that's the one thing I have to mention to keep this fair. If we're looking at the schedule with no bias, they haven't had that many challenges yet. The notable wins were against Golden State after Draymond Green left the game and Cleveland. Almost every other team that they've beaten so far has either been bad or just bare bones average. With that being said, Harden has clearly started this year with all the ingredients necessary to win MVP. He's got the storyline going for him, he's playing arguably the best basketball in the league, his team is scorching nearly everyone they come up against, so it should be a no-brainer up to this point. Except that there's a guy in Cleveland who just so happened to start eating the regular season up again. That sounds a little misleading because anyone who watches LeBron knows he's always either the first or second best player in any given season, but there's clear differences between those years and his MVP years. Typically, his MVP years look a lot more like what we're seeing now, where he's playing such dominant basketball that some nights he's just willing his teams to wins even if it's not that important of a game. So in the last few seasons, we've seen him coast and rest during meaningless games, but because of Kyrie's departure and the new team identity, he's had to equalize everything through this transition period, and that's resulted in some of the best basketball we've ever seen from him in his 15th season. Today, LeBron averages 28 points, 9 rebounds, 8 assists, a block, a steal. He shoots 58% from the field and 42% from the three-point line. Just a couple of notes about that stat line. His field goal percentage is almost 60%. Can we stop and appreciate how insane that is for a non-big man? As it stands today, that's the most efficient he's ever been in his career. What kind of player goes into his 15th season in the league and gets more efficient after everything he's done already? Same goes for his 42% mark from 3. That's the highest percentage he shot in his career there as well. Finally, his points, rebounds, and assist averages are all tied for his 3rd highest marks in his career. He also has Harden narrowly beat in 30-point games this season, as he's put up 10 of them so far. After an extremely slow start where Cleveland looked like the Monstars had stolen their talent, LeBron has led them on a 12-game win streak that's almost certainly going to be 13 by the time most of you see this video tomorrow. But just like Houston, Cleveland really hasn't had many challenges this year, and to be honest, there's no reason why they shouldn't be 21-3 right now. When the season started, they dropped 4 in a row to teams that they had no business being in close games with, so for that reason they're slightly behind Houston. As far as notable teams they've beaten so far, they did get Boston on opening night, which shouldn't have been a close game after what happened to Hayward, and they also destroyed the Pistons, who started the season hot. Aside from that, just like Houston, they've really been playing average or bad teams, especially on this win streak. However, that takes nothing away from what LeBron is doing and when he's doing it. Losing Kyrie was a huge factor considering the replacement still hasn't played one game yet, and on top of that, Derrick Rose was the fill-in and he's still yet to return from his last ankle injury back in October, which basically means LeBron has been the full-time point guard for a majority of the season. With everything he's had to do, he's averaging 4 turnovers a game, but when you're performing like this in your 15th season, having played the last 4 years with an elite point guard, I think you get a pass, especially because it's actually resulting in wins. So where does all of this leave us? First of all, it kinda leaves us in disappointment considering how epic last year's MVP race was. As said earlier, injuries and team adjustments have kinda made it to where these two have made themselves clear frontrunners already. Unless the Thunder completely turn their season around, Westbrook won't have a serious case. Who knows when Curry is coming back from that ankle injury, and we'll have to see if Leonard hits the ground running before it's clear if he'll have a case or not. Aside from that disappointment, we've got 2 guys playing at incredible levels and there's still close to 60 games left in the season. That's time for a lot of things to change. But if the season did end today, I think most people would give it to Harden just based off of what's happened up to this point. Like I said earlier, there's no way they should have 7 losses right now. Winning even 3 of those games that they lost would have definitely helped LeBron's case, but it honestly doesn't matter much for the bigger picture anyways. The reality is that we've got an entire 4 months left in the season, and a win or lose streak for either team could change either of their cases in an instance, and there's also the fact that Isaiah Thomas is coming back pretty soon, and that's big. LeBron is doing everything right now because he has to, but we know which strategy he prefers. He's already came out and said he's playing too many minutes right now, and that's really out of necessity. So once Thomas comes back and can handle more of the ball handling duties and take more of the shots, we can probably expect LeBron's production to go down as he preps to be fresh in the playoffs. Thomas is actually rumored to be coming back in mid-December, which is only a week from today. So if things stay similar to what they are now, and LeBron does start to coast once he gets Thomas back, Harden could easily run away with this season's MVP. It definitely helps that he's already got a massive head start on the other 3 regular candidates. And that's what I got for you guys today. Make sure to leave in the comment section who you would pick for MVP today between LeBron and Harden, or if you would pick somebody else. There's definitely other players having great seasons out there. We just know that most of the time, unless you're gonna average a triple-double for the season, MVP definitely comes down to what your record is and how well you were playing with that record. So right now it's probably more between LeBron and Harden than anybody else. So make sure to hit the like button, comment, and sub if you enjoyed. Hit the bell next to my name if you want notifications on future videos, and sub to my second channel because I'm doing a lot of fun stuff over there. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys on the next one.